And just think about all the words. Welcome to I Read This Book with Chris. This is Chris. Today we will be discussing Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. While discussing this book, Around the World in 80 Days, I will be drinking a gin old fashioned. Anyway, Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. So Jules Verne is one of the fathers of science fiction. If you haven't heard of him, well, you should have. He wrote, Journey Around the World in 80 Days, Journey to the Center of the Earth, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, From the Earth to the Moon. I guess Journey to the Center of the Earth and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea will probably be, and Around the World in 80 Days will probably be his three most famous. From what I can tell, from a very quick Google search, I can swear there's more that are more well known. Journey to the Center of the Earth is about people go down to in a cave and they found under a cave basically a hollow earth, and the hollow earth has dinosaurs. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is there's this crazy rich man who creates a submarine and lives in the submarine full time, and you follow a guy who meets him after getting shipwrecked, I believe, gets saved by him, and then is returned to society afterwards. Around the World in 80 Days is probably the least sci-fi of his famous books. It's basically, there's this guy who I personally feel very connected to. He is a rich man who doesn't need to work. He has his fortune and is very habitual. He goes to the same club every day at exactly the same times. I am not as precise and exacting as this guy is, but he has his habits. And while he's there, every day he reads his newspaper, then he plays a game of whist, which is some sort of card game that I don't know how to play, that he plays with same people every day. And there's this discussion about how the world is becoming a small place. And he says, hey, you can actually go around the world in 80 days. And he just says it in a matter-of-fact way. No, you can travel the world completely in 80 days. And everyone's like, no, I don't think you can. I think what starts off with someone says you can save him, says it oh, you can go around the world in 90 days or 100 days or something. And he's like, 80. No, you can do it in 80. And everyone's like, no, you can't. He's like, no, you can. 100% you can go around the world in 80 days. And they're like, no. And they're British, and British people like their bets. And so they go and they make a wager. And so he says, well, that's all right. I'll leave right now. I'll leave this evening, and I'll be back. And they decide on a day, 80 days henceforth, and he and his newly hired manservant, his butler, go and travel the world. And they go and they travel the world. All sorts of hijinks happen. They go through, they're in England, go through Europe. They're in London, England. They go through Europe. They travel the Mediterranean. They go through India. They take planes. Or they don't take planes. They take ships, they take trains, and they travel India down over to Hong Kong. From Hong Kong, they take a boat over to America. America, they take a train all the way across. At certain points, the trains don't always make it. At one point, the line just had yet to be completely crossed, so they travel on an elephant. In America, their train is hijacked by Native Americans who come to raid it. While fighting them off, the train leaves they go and try to save the person who got kidnapped by the Indians. They go and they save them and bring them back, and they realize the train went on ahead. And so then they take a sledge that has a sail. That's what you see here. This is a sail on a big sled as it travels across America in the winter. And they hop back on the train, they hop on the ship, get back to America in 80 days. And the big deal is they get around the world and they think it took 80 days. But because they are traveling, they think they get there late. But they actually got there a day early. So he thinks he lost the bet. But he actually got there a day early because every time as you're traveling across, you lose a day. You lose an hour by an hour by an hour as you cross the time zones. And so when you come back, he thought he got back in 8 days. He actually got back in 79 days. So he thought he lost the bet. They're like, oh no, you won the bet, you need to get back there. So he literally walks through with 3 seconds to spare on getting around the world in 80 days. The last 24 hours being spent in London. It's this whole shebang. It's a really fun story. It's a great adventure story. The main reason that I enjoyed Around the World in 80 Days is it is of a different time. One, it's a different time because of literature. And two, it's a different time because of the world and technology was very different. If you wanted to now, you could probably travel the world and fly around the world completely. Just a regular person without any crazy things. A couple of days, 3 days, 4 days, maybe less. It would just be how, depending on how the timelines landed up as you went and you flew from place to place to place, and how long you had your layovers on your flights. You could definitely beat the 80-day mark. So this book was first published in 1873. This is obviously not an 1873 edition. In 1873, the English Empire, the sun never sets on the English Empire because constantly around the world, the empire was everywhere. So most of the time was spent either in the English Empire or in America, or on the sea being controlled by a boat that was in either English or American, right? But the English Empire was spread out over all this area. But this is one of the first times where the entire globe was accessible, and you could go and travel the world and be back in that feels very modern. I got it recently in my last book haul. You will have seen Krakatoa. Krakatoa, the day the world exploded, August 27th, 1883. So this was in the same time period. This is 10 years after this book was written. Businessman was, I don't know exactly where it is, Krakatoa. It's somewhere in the Pacific, Asian Pacific. A volcano erupted. He is a businessman. He has responsibility to inform the business owners who are in London about the fact a volcano has erupted, which will then go and change things. So telegrams are sent, and so the way a telegram works is you go and you send a message, it goes down a wire, someone receives it, and then if it has further to go on, they go and they send it somewhere else. So the day after Krakatoa, the volcano erupted, it was in the newspaper in London, which is the first time anything like this has ever happened, which is why this is what this book talks about. I have yet to read it. I've heard about it. I'm excited to read it. It's a fun little thing. The world had gone from, just remember, not that early, much earlier before empires had exploded, where Europe was suddenly controlling the whole world, which was just a few hundred years before this. It would take months and months and months for information to travel. And here it is traveling in one day, from something literally on the opposite side of the globe, going all the way back to London. Around the World in 80 Days is on the same thing. The world was such a different place in that time, where going around the world in 80 days, it's less than 3 months. It's a very, very short period of time. You could go from London and you could just go all the way around the world and come back. That means if you wanted to go anywhere, you would not be able to go, hey, we're going to India and spend a week in India, or we're going to Hong Kong or Singapore or Japan and spend a week or two there and come back. You can't do that. We're not quite there at airplane level speeds. You can't just go fly to Australia, spend a week there and fly back. But you could, within 1 calendar year, be in London, go to India, go to Australia, and be back. And you could leave before snow, after last snow had fallen, and get back before the last snow had started. In a way that had never before existed. Which I just find very interesting. And the way everyone is so excited by it. The way everything is so exciting and fun. So there's the speed that way. Another thing I enjoy is how different of a world it is you can see by the writing. My favorite is the chapter titles. Chapter 14, in which Phileas Fogg, he's the man who made the bet, in which Phileas Fogg descends the whole length of the beautiful valley of the Ganges without ever thinking of seeing it. That's a chapter title. Chapter 24, in which Mr. Fogg and the party cross the Pacific Ocean. Chapter 21, in which the master of the Tankadeer runs a great risk of losing a reward of 200 pounds. Chapter 9, in which the Red Sea and the Indian Ocean prove propitious to the designs of Phileas Fogg. And it just keeps going, like, all these titles are great. And this, I'm going to read you the last couple of sentences, and just think about how fun these words are, these words that you will not see unless people are trying to imitate this style from 150 years ago. Phileas Fogg had won his wager and had made his journey around the world in 80 days. To do this, he had employed every means of conveyance: steamers, railways, carriages, yachts, trading vessels, sledges, elephants. The eccentric gentleman had throughout displayed his marvelous qualities of coolness and exactitude. But what then? What had he really gained by all this trouble? What had he brought back from this long and weary journey? Nothing, you say? Perhaps so. Nothing but a charming woman who, strange as it may appear, made him the happiest of men. Surely, would you not for less make that tour around the world? And it literally ends with the end. Like, it's brilliant, it's clean, it's fun, there's nothing crazy about it, there's no strange politics, it's just a little jaunt into a different time, into a different world. It just tells you things are not always now. People now think the world is a way. Things are not always this way. Things have been very different in the world. And there are lots of ways to read books that tell you, hey, the world is not always the way that you think it is. But I feel like this does it in such a fun way that more people need to know about. Like, this is a great book, to read to kids, or this is like a summer beach read type of thing. Nice, light, fun. Is it science fiction? Well, I don't know if anyone had actually traveled the world in 80 days before this book. So I guess it's kind of science fiction. Because sure, it's possible, but had it been done? Anyway, it's a good book. If you see Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne, pick it up. You'll be able to find it for very cheap. Lots of different printings. Some of them are really pretty, some of them are not so much, but thanks for watching.